Well, now to the latest on those impacted by the ongoing financial issues and investigation of Community Action Duluth.
In early November, we reported vendors of the Lincoln Park Farmers Market, which is run by CAD, found out via social media that the season's remaining markets were canceled.
Well, those vendors told us they hadn't been paid in months, and to this day, they haven't seen a dime.
And Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson has led our Northern News Now investigation of CAD from the beginning.
Yeah, Kyrie, it sounds like vendors will have an opportunity to finally sell their goods.
Yeah, Laura and Dan, that's right, but it's not because of CAD. Local business Duluth's Best Bread announced just last night they will host many of these vendors who've been left in limbo, allowing them to sell their goods this weekend.
I was shocked and I was a little bit gutted because we got our start as farmers market vendors at the Lincoln Park Farmers Market.
It was that shock that led Duluth's Best Bread owner Robert Lilgard to inviting the vendors into his business, knowing the impact it would have had if a market cancellation happened to him.
That would have been pretty devastating. I'm not sure what we would have done. I'm not sure if we'd be here today.
And those vendors can attest to how crucial the markets are.
The loss of the market personally took off 2/3 of my income.
Amanda Masiniak was one of the first vendors I spoke with back in early November after CAD canceled its market, and the concerns she expressed then have only grown.
It was a very sudden end to the other markets. So to have someone offer to host us in this time where we have the supply to sell, but nowhere to sell it, that's been great.
Lilgard hoping a helping hand will give vendors complete control of their goods and money.
We wanted to be super respectful because it sounds like there's been some financial shenanigans and we did not want to take part of it, so we're not touching any money.
A long-awaited lifeline for vendors who feel left in the dark.
We're all overwhelmed with joy that somebody reached out from the community to offer to host us.
And Lilgard is hoping the community will come out to help too.
Coming to a place like this and buying from these vendors, coming to wherever these vendors are being sold, spending your money locally instead of spending it at a giant corporation. I think what you actually do means 1,000 times more than all of your opinions put together.
Now, those vendors will be selling at Duluth's Best Bread locations, downtown location on Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. As I reported most recently, some of these vendors confronted the CAD board to try and get some answers about their missing payments. And while there haven't been any substantial updates since then, the vendors did tell me today that they're hoping to form their own farmers market as a group separate from CAD sometime soon. Live in the newsroom, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.